Hey there, this is Donna Kiss, and you're watching Paint This. Today we're going to paint a Valentine's Day cupcake. I'm using an 8x10 wrapped canvas, and I am using, I'm going to try these paints out today, Apple Barrel multi-surface satin paints. This one is Princess Purple, and I'm gonna go ahead and mix it with some white. I'm using a what size is this? 3/4 inch flat brush, and this is the color I'm going to do my background. So I'm going to take some white, mix it in with the purple. I want a light purple. There we go. So you can do whatever color you want, obviously. But this color looks really pretty. Okay, that should do. All right, and then I'm just going to apply a coat of this on my canvas. No special stroke. It's a really super easy painting. One stroke back and forth across the whole canvas to smooth out the paint. Make sure there's no cut marks. All right, and there you have it. Then we're going to take the blow dryer and dry that. You do want to make sure this is completely dry because we are going to transfer our image onto the canvas. And if it's not dry, it might not transfer properly. So I'm just taking a piece of graphite paper. You can reuse this paper over and over again. And this is the image that we are going to transfer. I went ahead and drew a little cupcake with some scrolling around it. I'm going to place that on my canvas. The graphite paper, you want the shiny side down. And let's see, kind of maybe two fingers. Yeah, I like to tape my image down so that there's no chance for it to move when I'm trying to trace it. Right. Okay. Now I'm going to take, you can take a stylus, you could take a pen, which is what I'm going to use. And I'm just going to trace the image. I will speed this up as well. Okay, and that should, oops. There we go. And our image has transferred. All right, so we are going to start with the frosting. So I'm going to take, first I'm going to take some, I like to use the FolkArt multi-surface white paint. This is titanium white. You can use wicker white. Any white you have is good. Oh, excuse me. All right, and I'm going to take some Princess Pink in the Apple Barrel multi-surface paint. Actually, I'm going backwards here. And then I also have Candy Apple Red. Just a little of that. We'll start with that. I'm going to take a 1/2 inch flat brush. Dip it in a little bit of water to dampen it. And I'm going to actually double load. I'm going to take pink And on the edge of the brush, I'm going to put the red. So we have two colors on our brush. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to start at the bottom, putting the red on the outside and sort of blending it. You don't want a line. There we go. And I'm just going to kind of swirl it around like icing. The bottom edge of where the icing is. I need some more paint on my brush. So the colors are blending automatically when you do that into the brush. And it's going to give some depth to our frosting. Okay, now I'm going to take some pink and fill in the rest of that layer. It's okay if you go above the line into the next layer because we're going to go over that with the red. Okay. I'm going to go back to this edge here and go across one final time so that's nice and smooth. And you can see we have a couple of colors there that look very pretty together. Okay, I'm going to do it again for the next layer. So I'm going to load the Princess Pink with some red. Loading them on my brush. And then I'm going to do the second layer the very same way. I'm going to start right at the top of the second layer and pull down. I need more red. Now I'm going to go over the bottom layer with the edge of where the red is. And I don't do a straight line. I kind of wiggle it a little here and there to make little curves, because you know as well as I do, when you put icing on, it never goes perfectly straight. And it gives our painting a whimsical look, which you know me. If anybody knows me, I'm all about whimsical. Okay, I'm going to go around the other edge, and there we go. And again, I'm going to pull one long line across here. A little bit more red. Of course, I'm going to have to go bake cupcakes after I'm done painting this. All right, now we're going to do another layer. Doing the same thing. We're just repeating what we did on the bottom layer. A little Princess Pink and a little red. And again, I'm going to go over this layer. Need more red. I'm going to take a round brush. It's a number 5 round brush. And I'm going to paint the tip of the icing, the little curly part on the top. That makes it look yummy. You don't have to use the brushes I'm using, obviously. You can use whatever you like painting with. Okay. I'm going to put just a little bit of the red on the bottom side. It probably has to dry more in order to do that. Make sure that you're covering up your pencil marks. And when that dries, I'll come back and add some more details to that. Now we're going to do our chocolate cake. So I'm using chocolate sprinkle from Apple Barrel. Again, it's a multi-surface paint. I think these are all multi-surface paints that I'm using. So I'll put a little of that on my palette. I'm going to take my... what do I want to use for this? I'm going to wash out the brush I used for the frosting and use that one. And again, that is a 1/2 inch flat brush. And I'm just going to pick the brown up, just a straight brown. And I'm going to paint right underneath the frosting. Okay, so you kind of want it to be smooth under where the frosting is laying. Just touch up the edge here of where the chocolate cake is. That'll do it. Maybe not. There we go. I'm going to bring this down just a little more. There we go. That'll do. Okay, and I want to fix the top of the cupcake. It should be dry enough, so I'm going to go back with the same brush I'm using now, the number 5 round brush, and pick up some more Princess Pink and a tiny drop of the red. I'm going to go back to my 1/2 inch flat brush, and I'm just going to pick up Princess Pink. I'm going to mix a tiny bit of white into the Princess Pink to make a lighter shade of the same pink, okay? And then I'm going to go into the top part of each layer. It needs a little more pink. And I'm going to do the same thing to each layer. Okay, now I'm going to take Golden Sunset. It's like a yellow ochre. I'm going to start with my 3/4 inch flat brush. And I'm going to pick up yellow ochre. Oops. And some white. And I'm going to paint in the cupcake holder. I'm letting the paint blend on the canvas. Okay, I'm going to pull my strokes downward and then at an angle and up. I'm going to rinse my brush off. Then I'm going to go back to my 1/2 inch flat brush and I'm going to mix some of the yellow ochre color with brown. Okay, and I'm kind of side loading more of the yellow ochre onto the one side of my brush. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go from the points that come down on my cup here. I'm going to blend a little bit of brown in there so you can see where these lines are. You need a little more brown. Well, and like blend next to them. Okay. Just going back in my brown because I went over my corner here. Okay. And so just do a little touch up there. Okie doke. Now I'm just going to pick up white on the same brush. And I'm going to go between those lines and drag a little bit of white between those lines we created. Okay. Okay, friends, if you're wondering what happened, I decided to change the frosting color. And this is a good example of how not to give up on your paintings when you don't like them. The beauty of acrylic paint is you can paint over pretty much anything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick with the Princess Pink, but instead of red, I'm going to use, this is a DecoArt Americana acrylic paint in Royal Fuchsia. So what I'm going to do is, yeah, that looks much nicer. I'm going to load a little of that on the side and a little of the Princess Pink on the other side of my brush. I'm using my 1/2-inch flat brush. And again, I'm going to start on the bottom. I can already tell I'm going to like this a lot better. Oh yeah, a million times better. Okay. All right, so don't give up on your paintings. If you don't like what you painted, don't throw it away. Paint over it. Now we are going to work on the conversation hearts. All right, so I'm going to use my 1/2-inch flat brush. I have the red hearts started already. We're going to do the hearts on the bottom. You can pick whatever color or colors that you want. I'm going to start with Outrageous Orange. Again, it's Apple Barrel. And it's not a very opaque color. I'm going to mix a little bit of titanium white with it. These conversation hearts are pretty pastel-ish anyway. So, but it'll give me a little bit of better coverage if I add a little bit of white to it. Probably going to need 2 coats. Make a little side to it there. Okay. Yeah, that'll definitely need 2 coats. All right, now I'm going to work on a different one. Pick a different color. I'm going to take a, I don't know if I have any left, turquoise color. I'm going to add a little white to that as well. Stretch it out. I'm almost out of it. And I'm going to put a heart right here. And then the last one, I'll pick a shade of green. This particular shade is spring green, which again, I will mix with some white. You don't have to put these little conversation hearts on here if you don't want to, of course. But I like the added color. I'm going to actually turn it around. Got a little bit of water in that. Okay. Okay, I'm going to dry those, so I'll speed it up for a sec. All right. I'm going to speed it up again because all I'm going to do now is a second coat on these hearts. Something like that. Okay, wash my brush off. Now I'm going to take some magenta and Princess Pink again. And again, I'm going to double load and blend them on my brush. A little of each color. I just go back and forth. Then I'm going to take the edge where the darker pink is. I'm going to make a little line. So it kind of looks like the conversation hearts are tucked into the frosting. And I'll do a little one over here. And just kind of blend that. There we go. Wash my brush off. And there's one part I want to fix in here. This little area in the middle here. I need a small brush for that. A very small brush. So, let's see what I got here. I have a 0 round brush. Let's give that a try. And I just want to put a little of the background back into where our swirl is here in our heart. Because it looks a little messy. Okay. There we go. I'm going to take some of a darker purple color. In this case, it's FolkArt violet pansy, and put some of that on my palette. I'm going to take my small not filbert brush, a bristle brush. And I'm going to go underneath the cupcake. And blend in sort of a shadowy area. I'm going to go underneath the hearts too, because they should have some sort of a shadow. And just blending. Dry brushing, blending. Blend, blend, blend. Okay, I'm picking a very small amount. I'm going to put some under this heart. I think that the cupcake should have more of a shadow. I'll have the light coming from this way. So we'll shadow it to my right. Kind of like that. Okay, and I'll go a little darker underneath here. A liner brush, I think it's a number 1 or a 2, I don't know. But what I want to do is touch up the edge of my heart. And I'm going to touch up the edges of the other ones as well. Some people don't like using these liner brushes. They feel they don't have a lot of control. Personally, I love them. Like that. And that'll do. All right, so I'm going to dry this. Taking a... Now I'm going to take a Posca pen. And we're going to add words to our hearts. Shake it first. And I'm going to add some scrolls as well. So let's add an X and an O. We can add any words that you want. We'll put hugs and kisses. Hugs. You might want to paint these on. This is pretty thick. It's a pretty thick pen to use for these small hearts. Sorry if I went off there. Hugs. Let's see if we can fit kisses on here. Kisses. And what else can we put? How about just love? There we go. You can write whatever you want. Now, I'm going to take this pen again. You don't have to do this. This part is optional. And I'm going to do scrolls around the edges. So I'm just going to do like little S's. Okay. It looks pretty. And I'll do the same thing on this side. If you go into your hearts, that's all right. Then I'm going to turn to the side and I'm going to do the same thing. Okay. I'm not measuring, I'm just winging it. And I think that adds to the whimsicalness, if that's a word, the imperfection. So let it be. Okay. Turn it again, and I'll start here. There we go. There's one more thing I'd like to add to this painting, and we're going to take the back end of our paintbrush, oops, and we're going to add little sprinkles. Here we go. Ta-da! We are done. This was an afterthought. As you can see, I already signed it, but it just adds a bit of color, and I like how it looks. Happy Valentine's to you, everyone.